in this segment, we're going to do real, fake, or real, fake. So essentially we're going to give you some statements, and then you're going to decide whether they're real, most likely going to happen, fake, which means not going to happen, or real, fake. So real, fake means sort of like a fool's gold kind of thing. So they look good, but they're actually not going to do what happens in the statement. So let's start with the first one. You guys ready?
I hope so. I mean, that was the real, fake thing. It's great.
We'll do our best.
There won't be any confusion whatsoever, but let's start.
What in less than 10 words, distinguish fake and real fake?
So real fake is somebody who looks good now, but actually isn't going to be good down the line.
Fake is a total fraud.
Total fraud.
And real fake is could be but won't be.
Correct,
fraud.
yes.
All
Which will make sense for one of these for sure. So anyways, so let's move on to the first one. So my first statement is the Texans will win the AFC South. Real, fake, or real fake?
Well, this would be your obvious real fake. I mean, I believe Houston is a pretty good football team. Only a game out of the division. Have already beaten Jacksonville once. So it's not insane at plus 275 to think the Texans can't win the AFC South, but I will go with real fake because, I mean, it's something that you are right now talking about the Texans at the absolute peak of the market. I believe they're a pretty good football team, Mike, but this is still a group with a lot of deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball. And as great as quarterback C.J. Stroud has been, it's hard to expect that incredibly high level of play will continue all the way through the year, through the rest of the regular season in a way where they can overtake Jacksonville and win the division. So as much as I like Houston in general, I will go with real fake there. Fool's gold.
Well, give me a moment. Okay. I want to take a look at something here.
So while you're thinking,
they
Mike,
host the Cardinals, they host the Texans, they host the Broncos. There were 3 home games in a row. These Houston Texans. They go to the Jets. They go to the Titans. They host the Browns. I'm going to say this is real because of the schedule. This schedule is unbelievable here. Is this the easiest schedule left? Is there any game that you're going to say, host the Cardinals? Now, the Jags, I believe the Jags will beat them in Houston. Host the Broncos, that's a pick-em. At the Jets, pick-em. At the Titans, you're probably going to be a small favorite. The Browns depends on the quarterback situations. You host the Titans. You go to the Colts. I mean, look at this. There's like 6 very winnable games for them. I'm going to say it's real. It borders between real and real fake. It's not fake.
Sweet. So we do have this graphic for AFC playoff contenders.
I like it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this graphic that says
the fake continuum.
Remaining strength of schedule. And the Texans have the 30th ranked strength of schedule left.
That's what I wanted to look at. I wanted to see their schedule.
So the counter is the counter is if you're looking at pure win percentage right now. Yeah, Houston is one of the 5 easiest schedules. Jacksonville has the 6th easiest schedule. So that's part of it too, and it really will come down to because if Houston beats Jacksonville next week, Houston at home will be likely a home dog there against Jacksonville, but Houston wins that game, they will have swept the Jags and will essentially, even though they would be tied potentially in the standings, would have a 1-game lead by that. So really comes down to the Jacksonville game, and then you have the Jags who still get 2 games against the Titans, games against the Bucks and Panthers. So that's why I'm not as in love with it.
Nobody's in love with it, Ben. We're just saying that it's possible.
I know.
Have the Jaguars been impressive at all this year? And that's really their only.
Well, they're impressive when they get to travel early and stay in London. That's when they're impressive.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought
they did. They took advantage of it.
They did.
Chalked up 2 wins there.
Yep. So I think this was good discussion because I think the Texans.
I thought it was a great lead topic.
Out of the crazy. So
great lead topic.
We'll move on to the next one, which this one's a little bit more far-fetched, I think. The winning quarterback of Chiefs-Eagles will be the eventual MVP.
Fake. Because I believe Lamar Jackson will be the MVP. And it's hard for me to get behind these two right now because they're both worse than they were last year. And both offenses, especially the Chiefs, were worse. Now, they're amongst the top 5 quarterbacks in the game, so they're in the conversation. But, I've heard a lot of talk, C.J. Stroud MVP talk. Frank Schwab from Yahoo came on the other day. He was very convinced. You've got to be in the top 2 seeds in a conference. That's 16 out of 17 of the last MVP winners are. Houston's not going to be a top 2 seed. So you've got to look. I would rather make the argument for McCaffrey than C.J. Stroud because I think San Francisco will be a top 2 seed. I think possibly the winner of this game Monday night ends up the runner-up for MVP, but not MVP. I believe it's Lamar Jackson.
Now down to 3-1 too for Jackson. Was 18-1 at one point. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that's a good either. Yeah, that's why I'm stuck between real fake or fake. I'll go fake because I'm with you. No, and you could also make the argument though, fool's gold numbers for the Chiefs and the Chiefs as a unit in general. And we're seeing money come crashing into that market on the under for Monday night, Mike, because Kansas City is such a differently constructed team than they have been in the past Super Bowl runs under Patrick Mahomes. It's defense that is winning the Chiefs games. It's not this offensive prowess and firepower. So I'm with you at the same token. And we also, look, Jalen Hurts has been playing less than 100%. That's been pretty widely known now for a few weeks. What would he have to do, and like how much better would he have to play through injury here to get to a position where we say, you know what, actually he is going to be the MVP when the Eagles continue to win despite losing box scores week in, week out.
Also, just really interesting, because I left it off the graphic because then it got into double digits. But Christian McCaffrey is 18-1 currently at DraftKings, and Brock Purdy is currently 20-1. So it's very interesting between those two who you would choose, because I think McCaffrey is the correct choice, like Mike said, but we all know this is a quarterback award, and
sure.
Would you take the shot with 20-1? So I'll move on to the next one. So the next one, speaking of the 49ers will be the NFC #1 seed. Real, fake, or real fake?
You're first now on this one.
I really want to say real. I also don't believe it really matters for San Francisco what seed they are getting. So I will go fake here, just because of the midseason swoon being enough to take San Francisco a little bit off the pace. You look at the standings right now: Niners 6-3. You're 2 back of Philadelphia, 1 back of Detroit. It's not like that's an insurmountable margin by any measure, but San Francisco has all the makings of a team where, as long as they're just in the top 2, if you're Kyle Shanahan as a head coach, you have to feel great about where your team is positioned heading into the postseason. It's not like you have to go all out here with all the injuries they've had to deal with and try to necessarily get that 1 seed to have any chance. I'd take the Niners to win the NFC if they were even just a 4 seed, honestly.
So you answered fake?
I did say fake, yes.
Philadelphia has to go to Dallas. What are the conference records? That would be the tiebreaker between them, right? Because they'll have no head-to-head.
I'll pull up.
San Francisco lost to Minnesota. They lost to Cleveland, and who was the third? Cincinnati. So they have 1 loss in conference. And who's Philadelphia's loss?
So Philly right now 6-0 in conference.
Okay, so they have the advantage.
Lions,
there.
Niners each 4-1 in the NFC.
Yeah, I'll say fake as well, but I think healthy they're the best team in football.
Well, that's the thing. I completely agree.
And then I put on the second line Philadelphia and Baltimore about equal. I'm a little concerned about Hurts though, because something's wrong with him. He's limping in every game, and we don't hear about it. There's nothing on an injury report. There's no talk about it. But 4 to 5 times a game, he limps back to the huddle after a running play.
They've stopped running the ball in large parts, which makes it kind of tough against the elite of the elite defenses.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.